We talk to James Lott, our official recruiting analyst, every week, and every week he kind of comes up with a new group of guys he wants to preview here. And this week he kind of went to a few guys that I think are kind of underrated wide receivers this year. And so here to talk about a few of the more underrated receivers in the class of 2017 in Texas. It's the official recruiting analyst of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I almost did it again. Dave Campbell's Texas Football. It is James Lott. James, how are you?
How we doing today, guys?
We are doing quite excellent. We are just days away from Texas high school football. Very excited about it. And you sent me three guys that you want to talk about today. Guys that I think it would be fair to say kind of fly under the radar. Maybe aren't necessarily at that very, very top tier elite wide receiver 5-star type guy, but very talented playmakers all the same. It seems like you're kind of getting into some sleepers here.
Right, and the reason I want to highlight these guys, it was interesting this week. I was reading an article in one of the magazines online that was talking about how college football is sort of changing, and these guys like the Adoree Jacksons of USC and the Jabril Peppers, these multi-talented players that can play multiple positions kind of stand out. And so the reason I wanted to highlight this group was because of their ability to play wide receiver as well as other positions. And one of the bigger guys that I've been watching since he was a freshman at returning punts for DeSoto was K.D. Nixon. Mm-hmm. You know, K.D.'s a 5'8", 180-pound kid. The thing that when I watch him and I cut on the film, the first thing you see is it looks like he's moving and everybody else is standing still. Mm-hmm. This kid can fly. And when he gets the ball in his hand, he's got this sense of urgency about him. So you can hand it to him at running back. You can throw it to him at wide receiver. I even seen him play a little bit of safety. But a guy that you want the ball in his hands because he can do some tremendous things with the ball. What's interesting about this kid also that a lot of people don't know is he's a student of the game. He's one of those kids, believe it or not, that at the high school level comes in, even when he was a younger kid, he comes in, spends extra time, he watches extra film on his own, and he studies defenses and things like that. But this is a kid that can take the top off the defense with his speed. He can fly. He can play multiple positions. But one of the better, like you said, sleepers that are out there that I believe will be great at the next level.
And the thing about K.D. Nixon that stands out to me is that you're exactly right. He could be a tremendous wide receiver, but I know that the transition from high school to college at the wide receiver position can often be a little steep. So even while he's kind of making that transition, whoever lands him can get some value out of him in special teams or in any other way, just because he's got that type of skill set that is so versatile.
Exactly. And when you think back 3 years ago, when he was a freshman, you got to remember when DeSoto made that run to the semifinal. Well, he was a kid, and I first noticed him because he took a punt to the house against I think it was Allen in the playoff game. And I was like, wow, who's that kid? And he's just a freshman. So he can do that same thing at the college level. So these type of kids are making an impact because there are guys that can contribute immediately on special teams and other positions.
You know, for a town of only 2,900, Hooks, Texas has a history of putting out some really special talent. Billy Sims, of course, is the star from Hooks, not to mention Jeremiah Trotter, the former linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles and Washington Redskins. But the next guy up seems like he could be just as special. Montrell Estelle, a guy with a tremendous skill set, and a guy who I think if he were playing at a Plano or he were playing at a Cy-Fair, he were playing at a San Antonio Madison, I think we'd be hearing a lot more about him. But Montrell Estelle, it really jumps off the screen at you.
From the home of the great Billy Sims, like you said, but another talented athlete, bigger kid though, 6'2", 180 pounds, can run, rangy kid, all-district performer, also an all-state performer. He's got Alabama, Notre Dame, A&M, and Arkansas were on his tail, but he, of course, committed to Texas a couple of weeks ago. But another two-way player that plays, you can stick him at receiver, you can stick him at safety. He excels. He's rangy. He can make plays off the hash. I even seen him play a little bit of quarterback. They put him back there to run that Wildcat, and very, very interesting player to watch. He's actually got a brother down there named Malik that plays linebacker. There's also a kid that's getting recruited. Interesting thing about this kid too, he's a track kid. He runs a 400 to 200. He's also a long jumper, but good size and wingspan, quick to read and react on throws, but a rangy kid. Once again, I think he'll play safety at the next level, but if he went to the right program, they could also use him at wide receiver.
And he's got one of the more unique stat lines in the year in the state last year. He had 4 rushing touchdowns, he had 5 receiving touchdowns, and then he had 3 interception returns for touchdowns. So that guy, when he gets the ball in his hand, he knows what to do with it, and that's the kind of skill set that can play, as you were saying, that's the kind of skill set that can play at wide receiver. It can play at safety. It can play a lot of different places on the field.
Right, and you can play early because you can. Yeah. If the wide receiver and DB positions are locked up when he comes in as a freshman, he can contribute as a returner or a special team guy, contribute early.
We're talking with James Lott, the official recruiting analyst of Dave Campbell's Texas Football here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. And, we were talking a little bit earlier about Mansfield Lake Ridge quarterback Jet Duffy, now out there at Texas Tech, just down the road in Mansfield at Mansfield High. They've got quite a versatile playmaker currently committed to Notre Dame, Paulson Adebo, a guy who plays wide receiver, plays a little bit of corner. I know that they can stick him kind of at that kind of hybrid safety corner position. For Paulson Adebo, when you see what he brings to the table, what stands out to you?
First off, watching Mansfield, it's funny. I was watching them last year, and of course, everybody's coming to the game to watch Kennedy Brooks run for 300 yards. But I saw this kid on defense, Paulson, Saeed Adebo, run down someone on defense, and I said to a friend of mine standing next to me, I was like, well, who's that kid? He's like, oh, you don't know about that kid. He's one of the better kids out there. And so at that point, I started evaluating and looking at him. But another great talent, excellent student from what I hear, smart player with excellent work ethic, quality young man from what I hear. Another track athlete, and an exceptional one. I think he was second. They were second in the state meet in the 4x2, and they were third in the 4x1. And this kid ran the third leg on both those relays. So he can fly. But a long frame kid, rangy, excellent ball skills. Like I said, he can play wide receiver, cornerback, excellent feet and hips, good transitional quickness. Notre Dame is, of course, recruiting him or they're looking at him to play cornerback. But I know there's some other people looked at him to play other positions. But I think he will be an exceptional corner with the size and his speed and his foot quickness and his playmaking ability. But another great prospect that I can't wait to look at this year and evaluate.
This is a guy, you said the word long, and that was the thing that kind of jumped out at me. I think this is going to sound odd to people who maybe don't follow recruiting, but I don't think all 6 foot, 180-pound guys are created equal. And you look at Paulson Adebo or Saeed Adebo, and this guy looks like he's still got a frame that he can fill out. That I feel like I look at him, and maybe you think a little differently, but I think he could easily put on another 20, 25 pounds and still be as fast and still just kind of fill out that frame. It seems like he's got that kind of build.
Exactly. And the first thing you do, the prototypical cornerback is going to be the 5'10", 5'9", 5'11" guy. So when you see a 6'1", 6'2" guy that plays corner, well, the first thing you want to do is sit down and get an up-close look at his feet and his hips and whether or not he can flip his hips or drive, how quick his feet are. And when I watch him, he's got the same footwork as those smaller corners. So anytime you can find a kid that's got that footwork and those hips and that change of direction ability and also have all that length and size and long arms, then, of course, those are the guys that and I see Texas is a school that's filling up on those type of guys that people are kind of turning to when you can find these kids that are long like that also have all the other intangibles of the smaller cornerback.
It is week 1 of the Texas high school football season. And, James, you heading out to any games this weekend?
Hey, you know what's so interesting? Before you call, I was looking at a schedule here and seeing where I was going to spend my time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you want Den Ryan or Lancaster?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want Allen versus Hoover? Do you want Cedar Hill versus Bishop Gorman? Then on Saturday, you got the quadruple header down at Frisco at the Star, the new Star that just opened, with all 8 teams in Frisco playing. So you can best believe I'll be watching football Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this weekend.
Oh, it's about to get started, and he will be with us every week to talk recruiting every week. He is James Lott, the official recruiting analyst of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at JL Scouting. James, appreciate your time, and enjoy the first football weekend. We'll do this again next week.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.